Good evening, everyone. I'm Micah Giacchi in for Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're going to begin with the awe-inspiring grand finale to NASA's historic Artemis II mission. The 4 astronauts emerging safely from their space capsule, mission specialist Christina Cook, followed by pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Jeremy Hansen, and finally Commander Reed Wiseman. After the capsule deployed multiple parachutes, slowing it down for a picture-perfect splashdown in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Southern California.
A new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
About 30 minutes before, from space, that time separation of the capsule from the service module, then the Orion capsule re-entering Earth's atmosphere, barreling forth at speeds of up to 25,000 miles per hour. And a last look at Earth before going into a communications blackout period with the crew. Those 13 minutes, one of the most dangerous parts of the mission, as temperatures reached 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and finally re-establishing communication with the astronauts.
Check, post-blackout.
Houston, Integrity, we have you loud and clear.
The 4 astronauts launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida on a 10-day lunar flyby mission, the first mission to the moon in 50 years, traveling farther than any person has gone before at over approximately 250,000 miles. The Artemis crew documenting stunning images of the moon, including parts of the far side no human eyes have seen before. This mission, part of NASA's future plans to establish a moon base on our celestial neighbor. The crew will now undergo post-mission medical evaluations on board the USS Mirtha. Let's bring in Gio Benitez. Gio, what a moment to see that capsule open and those 4 astronauts finally emerge.
And I was so grateful to have an astronaut by my side watching it as well, because this was just so incredible to see this. First of all, this new front porch design, which is this inflatable raft where you saw so many people on there making sure that they were safe. They had a medical team going in there, checking them out first to make sure that they were okay, and they were. And then they ended up bringing them out and ultimately lifting them up into the helicopter. It was remarkable to see them flying through the air as if they didn't have enough epic 007 moments. This was yet another.
And Susan, what an incredible 10-day mission they had, just going through so much. What do you think's on their minds right now?
It was a picture-perfect mission. I mean, yes, the toilet maybe failed and maybe the temperature wasn't perfect, but it was a picture-perfect mission. And so they have all of that to reflect on. But right now, it's more about the comfort things. They want a good shower, some good food, and they want to see their loved ones.
Of course. And Gio, it was expected, but it took almost 2 hours from splashdown to essentially see the Artemis crew come out of that space capsule. Why did it take so long?
Well, as you can imagine, this is something that you had. Obviously, you're in waters, right? And these waters, you just don't know what's going to happen. You had these divers working very hard all around it. There was a lot of coordination that had to take place. So we're going to be looking at that review, and they're going to look at what it was that happened. But this was really the first time that they were really doing this in real life, right? You practice, you find different ways to practice, but obviously, the best training is what happens in the moment. And so they still sort of met those deadlines that they were looking at. They always gave themselves about 2 hours to get everybody out because you wanted to take your time. Yes, you wanted to get them on the ship as quickly as possible, but you wanted to take your time because, as Susan has been saying, every moment matters here, that every moment really can be dangerous. Anything can happen, right? And so in this case, you wanted to make sure just that was still floating and that it was still upright and that water wasn't getting into the hatch. There were so many things that were complicated even when it was back on Earth.
And let's take a look at our screen right now. The helicopter's powered down and pilot Victor Glover clapping his hands, feet on solid ground, coming out of that helicopter and essentially thanking everybody. What an unbelievable moment to see these astronauts finally back on solid ground. Susan, what's your reaction to just seeing these pictures right here?
This is amazing. I mean, this brings you back to the Apollo days when the Apollo astronauts would get aboard the Navy ships and everybody was usually on board cheering for them. I mean, this is just something that hasn't happened in more than 50 years. And, I know it took a while to get them out, but think about it. They had currents to deal with. They had to get the collar around. It's not like they practiced this very often, to make it. You saw how many people it took in the water to get it all going, and they took their time and did it safely, and that's what's most important.
Yeah, we can also see Christina Cook smiling and waving. You can see those other members of the United States Navy essentially surrounding them, all smiles. Gio, Susan Kilrain, cannot thank you enough for your perspectives.
Thank you so much.
You got it. And now we're going to go to ABC News' Trevor Ault at a watch party at the Air and Space Museum in San Diego. Trevor, first things first, I just want to hear what that crowd sounded like when they saw those crew members. Actually, no, hold on, not Trevor. We're going to go Nick Notario. Sorry about that. It was live TV here. KTRK's Nick Notario at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. Let me ask you, Nick, we're seeing the Artemis crew members finally on solid ground. What's it like there inside Mission Control?
Well, there's a lot of excitement here at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, and we're going to hear from flight directors and people that have made this all possible in less than a half an hour. They're getting the room set up right now to give us a briefing as to, what happened in Mission Control, how the families are doing, how the astronauts are doing, what they've been able to say and hear from them since they've come back down to Earth. There's been a lot of serious faces on those in Mission Control over the last 10 days. A much different situation. They get maybe let loose when they walk out on stage. But we knew it was going well, this mission, because every time they walked out, they all had smiles. It's been a good 10 days for the people here at Mission Control at the Johnson Space Center, but not just for them, for a lot of the employees. There's a watch party here, and there's been a lot of excitement. Job well done for these folks. That's the way they're feeling, because some of them have spent almost 20 years making today a reality. So there's certainly a lot of excitement as they not only cheer this mission, but also, they now have to get ready for Artemis II. Like a year away, and Artemis IV in less than 2 years to actually put humans back on the moon. So, it's like when, I guess, you think about when a team wins a playoff game, they celebrate that one night, and then you get ready for the next opponent. So that's what I would imagine we're going to hear from Mission Control. Yeah, they're excited, but they all know that the mission isn't over. Now they've got to get ready for these big 2 missions in the next couple of years.
And right now you can see all 4 crew members, Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen, right there on the USS John P. Murtha. They are taking their pictures, essentially capturing the moment that wowed an entire world. Nick, the astronauts' families are there. Explain what they might be doing and feeling right now.
Well, they've been in Mission Control. They're watching from the viewing gallery. It's like a theater behind Mission Control, and they've been sitting in there watching on the big screens everything go down with their loved ones. And after being in Mission Control, I imagine they'll return home for the night, and one more night without their astronaut loved ones, as they're going to be returning back to Houston at some point tomorrow. From what we're hearing, it may be afternoon, early evening, when the astronauts return back to Houston. But certainly there was some angst on them as they're watching in the gallery, but now a lot of excitement. And it was great when we saw those astronauts get pulled off of the Orion spacecraft. You could hear the cheers from Mission Control, and I was watching on the screen, and you could see the gallery behind them. They're all getting into it as well, and that's where the families were. So you sure bet they are thrilled and ecstatic, and I'm sure they can't wait to talk to them on the phone, maybe do some video chats as well as they reconnect with them now that they're here back on Earth.
NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman is there on the Navy ship. He is hugging and consulting with those 4 Artemis II crew members, making sure they're okay. Nick, can you explain to us what comes next post-landing in Mission Control?
Yeah, so what you're seeing now is they're being brought back to that Navy ship, and they're going to be checked out in a medical unit there on the ship. Then they're going to be brought back to San Diego. And at that point, NASA has a number of studies that they're going to put them through. So they're going to be checking for looking at their bodies to see how deep space has impacted them. So they're going to put them through some obstacle courses even, where they're going to check their balance to see how well that is going, because even though it was just 10 days, from what we've been told from NASA scientists, is that they still become disoriented for a few days. So they do these balance tests to see how they're doing. So it's not just how they're doing physically, make sure that medically everything's all right, but they're trying to get them so that way they can walk and move well, because it's going to be a difficult couple of days. Then after that's done, they're going to eventually board a plane and come right here to Houston. Now they're going to come to Ellington Airport. So if you've flown to Houston before, you probably know Bush or Hobby are the two main airports, but NASA uses Ellington, which is only about 10 miles or so from the Johnson Space Center. And when they land, we're told that you're going to have a number of NASA employees there, but also the astronauts' families. As I mentioned, they're not in California. Their loved ones are right here in Houston, and we're told that they're going to be at Ellington when they get here tomorrow, and I'm sure that's going to be a sight that everyone's going to want to see, Ike.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. And right now you are watching Christina Cook walking across that deck there on the USS Mertha, and she's going right now to the medical deck to be checked out, make sure that everything is okay. We're going to right now to ABC News' Trevor Ault. He's at that watch party at the Air and Space Museum in San Diego. Trevor, you have a front row seat to witnessing history. You're seeing right now those Artemis crew members safe and sound on solid ground on that USS John P. Mertha. They are coming out, taking pictures, waving, donning massive smiles on their faces. Victor Glover himself is about to walk across the ship now that we're watching. What's the mood there where you are?
Well, I can tell you that it continues to be a crowd here. They've actually kept the museum open past closing time. They said they were going to shut this down about 15 minutes ago, and they've kept it open because they continue to watch this feed. And every single time one of these astronauts stands up and is walked across, there is another cheer. And interestingly, the more the night has gone on, the more we have discovered, Ike, that of course people in general are cheering for the success of this mission, but there are also many people with personal ties. I had mentioned family here where the grandparents worked for NASA. Actually, this man behind me clapping. So he's clapping as Victor Glover's walking across because he is Victor Glover's fraternity brother. He's here with his daughters. They're telling me facts about what they've been eating as they've been up in space. And so they alone, he's watching a guy who he grew up with as he's watching the success. But of course, you don't have to have these personal ties to feel profoundly impacted by everything that what we have seen today. The countless family members, people holding their children, their grandparents with their grandchildren, and each and every one of every age, openly moved, openly cheering and celebrating what this accomplishment has achieved, and something that so many people have not seen in so many years, if at all. We saw that at the museum, and they knew from the beginning this was going to be a very special day, that this was a much larger crowd that they have had going back decades. So here they also were seeing something that they'd never seen before, because every single person knew how important it was to take in everything that we were seeing. You hear the crowd continuing to rise up once again. That has continued to happen nonstop, every single checkpoint, from the re-entry to re-establishing communications, to the beacon being lit up, to the hatch opening, every single astronaut getting off of Integrity, every single one getting onto the helicopter, getting off of the helicopter. They are profoundly grateful for the health and safety of all of these astronauts and what they have done. And of course, we know that that inspiration is going to carry over. So many people just here in San Diego, not too far from where they are on that aircraft carrier. But this is something that has moved people all across America.
All right, Trevor, thank you so much. And on your screen, you saw Commander Reed Weissman, the last member of the Artemis II crew, walk across that ship, and he's getting into the medical bay. Joining us now is astrophysicist Asa Stahl. Thank you so much for being here tonight through all of this and through this incredible, magnificent day. And like I said, this 10-day mission, it was incredible for these astronauts, Asa. What do you think is going through their minds and hearts right now?
It's almost hard to imagine. This is such a singular experience. I imagine it's some sort of mix of euphoria and honestly maybe a little bit of nausea, because that was quite the ride that they had, and they have a lot of readjusting to do to Earth's gravity. But I mean, these people just forged such a bond with each other. They seem like family up there. And so I think that they know that they're the eyes of millions of people on them, looking to them as sources of inspiration and hope. And so I imagine that they're just feeling a lot of pride, but also probably quite a bit of exhaustion if they weren't just so caught up in the sense of celebration around them. I mean, they have everyone clapping them on the back. The NASA administrator, I think that they must be full of energy in the end.
And what's that feeling like when you successfully splash down back to Earth after pulling nearly 4 Gs on the way in?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, if you've ever been driving and then had to brake suddenly, then it's kind of like that, but times 5 to 10 and for 10 minutes straight. That's what it's like to decelerate from 25,000 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour. So I imagine it was quite a ride, but it's been a couple hours now since they've splashed down, so hopefully that's helped them readjust.
And NASA learns from every mission and analyzes enormous amounts of data. How does the process of getting this capsule back safely on Earth pay off scientifically?
Oh, well, gangbusters, I would say. This mission was full of scientists' experiments, and the crew themselves were scientific subjects in a way. NASA was continuously studying them for how they react to the low gravity environment, the radiation environment up there, and the agency is going to take that data as well as data from the experiments they're about to do with these astronauts for the next few hours and few days to learn about how crews can better adjust moving forward with missions like Artemis II next year and Artemis IV the year after that to go back and land on the moon and build a sustainable presence there and maybe one day go on to Mars.
So what happened over the next week or so for those astronauts?
Well, it depends on what happens over the next few hours, how their medical checkups work out. So far, we heard from NASA that they're all green, which means that they're all looking good. But until we get those detailed medical checkups in, we won't know exactly what is in store for them. But we can say that at the very least, they're expected to go through a sort of obstacle course of sorts and do other experiments just tonight while they're fresh off of the boat, so to speak, to see how they've readjusted to Earth gravity. And then soon after that, sometime tomorrow, they'll be able to reunite with their families. And I know somewhere in between, they should be able to finally take their first shower, which I think they're all probably desperate to do.
I'm sure they are. Asa Stahl, thank you very much. And we're going to go back to Trevor Altright now. Remember he told you that he was with a fraternity brother of Victor Glover, that fraternity Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and he's with him now. Trevor, take it away.
Yeah, we figured we would just talk to him here. Like, incredible story, personal connection. So this is Cecil Shelton. He's got his 2 daughters, Cheyenne and Ava. Welcome. Thank you for taking time to talk to us. You know Victor Glover pretty well, I would imagine. Fraternity brother, correct? How does it feel getting to witness his safety and what he's accomplished?
It's a great moment of pride, not only for us as a community, but us as his brothers. To see all the things that he's accomplished and has accomplished, we just take great pride in knowing that he's taken us with us a little part of that journey around the moon and back here on Earth.
How long have you known him?
Victor's he started the chapter here, Lambda Delta Sigma chapter here in San Diego. I've been a part of that chapter 13 years now, so he's been a part of my journey ever since I became a Sigma man 13 years ago.
So they told me in my ear, so correct, I might get this wrong, but I believe the motto is culture for service, service for humanity?
Culture for service and service for humanity.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You think he's walking the walk, doing it right there?
Absolutely, through and through. That is the epitome of a Phi Beta Sigma man that we can all follow and emulate.
How long has he been working towards this?
It's been his dream. Actually, it wasn't his original dream. As you know, he started off just wanting to be a Navy SEAL. And so it was his dad who actually pushed him to go and to be a fighter pilot and told him you could be an astronaut one day and listen to your parents.
Astronaut's pretty good backup plan.
Astronaut's pretty good backup.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
What were those moments like in the 6-minute gap when you couldn't communicate and then waiting for the hatch to open?
The whole time has been a little bit anxious. You've been worried about their safety and their health because it's just a journey that has been done before. But with this technology, we're just so proud that the people that have been a part of this journey have got him there and got him safely. So anxious until that splashdown happened, knowing that they were back on Earth safe.
But it seems like the kind of guy that you'd have a lot of faith in.
Basically, pretty much. He was a pilot, so we know that if anything was going to happen, he was going to get him back on Earth safely.
And Cheyenne, I know you were watching everything that was happening pretty closely. You were telling me about some space facts. How was it watching them re-enter and come back to Earth?
Good.
What was your favorite part of the whole thing?
it.
Yeah, I agree. Ava, how about you? How do you like this past week with Artemis and getting to watch him come back safe?
Knowing that my dad knows the person who was on the space shuttle.
Yeah, pretty amazing, right? Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Were you cheering with the crowd? Yeah. How are you feeling moving forward, seeing your daughters get to be inspired, not just by incredible space accomplishment, but by somebody that you know in real life?
I think it opens up their eyes, their mind to the environment of STEM. They've always been excited about it, but to know that there's an even closer connection, I just hope that it, sparks something in them, so I can let them know that you can travel to the moon and beyond.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a very proud moment.
I would imagine there's a lot of young girls, young boys that are inspired by what your buddy just accomplished here. So we really appreciate your time. Cheyenne, Ava, thank you very much. Very nice to talk to you. You're scared to go to the moon? Good. You don't have to. I promise. If you don't want to, don't worry about it. There are obviously some inspiration. We're not quite sending children to the moon yet, Ike, but very happy people, families just like this one, celebrating all day here in San Diego.
Thank you, Trevor. Tell us you can stay right here on Earth. All right now we're going to move on to the fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran. President Trump issuing new threats to Iran ahead of tomorrow's high-stakes peace talks in Pakistan. Vice President J.D. Vance will be leading those talks as gas prices and inflation rise right here in the U.S. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has the latest.
Tonight, President Trump closely monitoring the ceasefire on the eve of the high-stakes talks between the U.S. and Iran.
What would a good deal look like for you? No nuclear weapons.
Tonight, the Iranian delegation arriving in Islamabad, which is hosting the negotiations. Vice President J.D. Vance on his way there.
If the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith, we're certainly willing to extend the open hand. If they're going to try to play us, then they're going to find that the negotiating team is not that receptive.
Iran has already failed to comply with the president's main condition for the ceasefire, reopening the Strait of Hormuz. 4 days after the ceasefire was announced, only 2 ships today moving through the waterway. Trump posting Iran is doing a very poor job, dishonorable, some would say, of allowing oil to go through the Strait of Hormuz. That is not the agreement we have. Iran accuses the U.S. of going back on its promise to get Israel to stop attacking Iran-backed Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Trump says that was never part of the deal. And tonight, Iran adding a new condition, saying the U.S. must release Iran's blocked assets before negotiations begin. But it's unclear what that means. The president posting, the Iranians don't seem to realize they have no cards other than a short-term extortion of the world by using international waterways. The only reason they are alive today is to negotiate. Here at home, the war's toll mounting. Inflation surging 3.3%, a 2-year high. Much of it driven by a 21% increase in gas prices, the largest one-month increase since 1967. The average price of a gallon of gas now $4.12. Among the hardest hit, farmers like Ben Smith in Bealton, Virginia, who tells our Elizabeth Schulze he's now grappling with soaring costs for diesel and fertilizer.
So you're talking more than $100,000 in extra costs because of what we're seeing with the supply chain and the war.
That's right. We didn't see this one coming. We weren't prepared.
Mary Bruce joins us now. Mary, the president monitoring these talks, but also reacting to the First Lady's statement about Jeffrey Epstein. What's he saying?
Yeah, I guess he keeps one eye closely on these talks. The president is reacting to that astonishing statement from the First Lady yesterday about sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Melania Trump insisting that she was not friends with Epstein and that he didn't introduce her to her husband. The president tonight telling the New York Times he didn't know what the First Lady was going to say, but that she, quote, had a right to talk about it. The president says, I didn't recommend it, but I said, I let it be her. I said, if you want to do it. The First Lady is demanding that Epstein's victims be allowed to testify before Congress. Like, no word on what the president thinks about that.
All right, Mary Bruce, thank you.
Thank you.
The husband of an American woman, Lynette Hooker, who went missing in the Bahamas, will remain in police custody after being questioned. Brian Hooker told investigators Lynette fell from their boat and was swept away. Police questioned him for 3 hours today and have requested more time to decide whether or not to charge him with the crime as he remains in custody. Authorities have until 7:20 p.m. Eastern on Monday to make that decision. And according to OpenAI, a suspect was arrested today after throwing a Molotov cocktail at OpenAI CEO Sam Altman's San Francisco home. The incident occurred around 4 a.m. at the gate of the house, which sparked a fire on an exterior gate. The suspect then fled on foot. Police responded to OpenAI's headquarters an hour later at 5 a.m., where a man was allegedly threatening to burn down the building. The 20-year-old suspect was arrested, and charges are still pending. Coming up, our continuing coverage of the end of the historic Artemis II mission. 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds now complete. We have more about what comes next. Plus, the deadline to file your taxes is just days away. We have the advice you need if you waited until the last second. And it was a robbery no one saw coming. An airport employee taking off in a $33 million airplane. Director Patricia E. Gillespie tells us about recounting that incident in her new film, Sky King. So you may be wondering, now that we've seen a successful splashdown, what comes next? Well, Will Reeve is back with us to look at what's ahead for the astronauts who are now set to spend their first night back on planet Earth.
Splashdown.
Splashdown is the end of the Artemis II mission. But this is just the beginning of NASA's next chapter.
It is our strong hope that this mission is the start of an era where every person on Earth can look at the moon and think of it as also a destination.
But before any of that can happen, they have a big challenge: keeping humans alive in deep space for long periods of time. The Artemis II mission is a bridge, a flight test of the Orion spacecraft, to prove NASA can safely send crews to the moon and back. With a successful Artemis II splashdown, Orion is closer to being ready for regular human missions to the moon.
We are going to get back into a better rhythm for achieving near impossible objectives. What does that mean? We're going to increase production rate. We're going to pull hardware to the left. We're going to start launching moon rockets on a yearly cadence, not every 3 years. We are going to build up to grand endeavors.
This mission is much more about duty and responsibility, so we can pass the batons off for this campaign called Artemis with its lofty goals. And we live that every day. And then we want to back out and disappear while the Artemis III crew stands in front of this microphone.
Just weeks before the Artemis II launch, NASA announced changes to the rest of the Artemis program timeline, adding a mission expected as soon as next year. Just like Artemis II, Artemis III will launch on NASA's Space Launch System rocket from Florida. This time, they'll stay in Earth orbit and test rendezvous with lunar landers built by SpaceX or Blue Origin or both. Then Artemis IV, expected in 2028. NASA's first return to the lunar surface since the Apollo days. Astronauts will spend a week exploring near the south pole of the moon. From there, the focus shifts to building a lunar base.
Booster ignition and liftoff.
That process could begin after Artemis V. NASA says missions could launch as often as every 6 months.
Roger, roll pitch.
But it'll take time, and it depends on each of these upcoming missions succeeding.
I mean, I think gradually there is a lot of interest in returning to the moon, and I think over time things that we might gradually come to recognize as a moon base probably will be built, but I think it'll be a rather slow incremental process.
And NASA isn't the only one interested in a permanent presence on the moon. A new space race is heating up, this time with China.
I think it's absolutely fantastic to have a competitor. It's a great way to kind of energize your workforce and industry and your international partners and focus your resources on world-changing outcomes. That's how we did it July 20th, 1969. It's how we're doing it again. Obviously, you don't want to lose. That's why we've implemented a more achievable plan.
Both countries want to build nuclear reactors on the moon to power bases. If all goes well, the moon could become the launch pad for humanity's next giant leap, Mars.
About 20 meters off the surface.
But scientists are facing huge challenges: fuel, landing on Mars, radiation, and unknown effects on the human body are all problems yet to be solved. But NASA says it's developing the technology and missions that would get them there, and planning to launch a nuclear-powered spacecraft called the Space Reactor 1 Freedom as early as 2028 to see if there's a more efficient way to get to the Red Planet.
SR-1 Freedom is going to finally get America underway on nuclear power in space. You're going to need that capability for the far side of the moon, for the permanently shaded regions on the South Pole. You're going to need it on Mars someday to help make the propellant so that when we do send astronauts to Mars, they're able to come back. And you're going to test out those in-situ resource manufacturings on the South Pole of the moon. So we are going to use the moon as a proving ground, as a stepping stone for the grand endeavor to Mars. You asking me, do I think there's going to be astronauts on Mars in the next half century? There's no question.
Will Reeve, thanks for that. And coming up, €100 could win you a painting by Picasso. What you need to do, though, first. And the major WNBA expansion. What cities are getting new teams? Welcome back to Prime. Here's a look at the stories making headlines right now. Amid a fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran, President Trump is making new threats ahead of tomorrow's high-stakes peace talks in Pakistan. He warned the U.S. military is preparing in case the talks fail. Vice President J.D. Vance will be leading the talks and said negotiations, quote, will be positive, but ongoing attacks between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon are threatening to derail the two-week ceasefire. And 8 people were indicted in a connection to a deadly explosion at a fireworks warehouse in Northern California. 5 of the 8 defendants are charged with second-degree murder. The others face lesser charges. 7 people were killed in the explosion on July 1st that also caused a 78-acre fire. And Hyundai is recalling nearly 300,000 vehicles in the U.S. over a seatbelt defect. Federal safety officials said seatbelt anchors could detach, increasing the risk of injury in a crash. The recall includes some Santa Fe, Genesis, and Ioniq models. And Hyundai says it is not aware of any crashes or injuries due to this issue. Car dealers will replace the seatbelt anchors free of charge. And the WNBA has confirmed the league is officially expanding into 3 new cities: Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. Cleveland will begin play in 2028, Detroit in 2029, and Philly in 2030. Congratulations to all. Coming up, the tax deadline is fast approaching. We'll speak with an expert about some last-minute filing tips, and your favorite dysfunctional family is back. We'll sit down with the cast of Malcolm in the Middle to chat about the return of the hit show. We're all officially on deadline. Tax day is upon us, with only 10 days left to file that tax return for 2025. How much money could be collected this year, and how big on average will tax refunds be? Well, we take a look at this tax season by the numbers. Now, according to the U.S. Treasury, the government collected $2.66 trillion in individual tax contributions last year, and that number could go up in 2026. That money funding more than half of the federal government's wallet. 51% of federal revenue comes from our own personal income taxes. And the majority of Americans, though, are not happy with their tax burden. The latest Gallup poll found that 59% of Americans think they pay too much in taxes, while only 3% think they're too low. And the Pew Research Center found that 6 in 10 Americans feel that some wealthy people and corporations, well, they're not paying their fair share. But the IRS is reporting some taxpayers could see larger refunds this year. The agency announced the average tax refund this year reached $3,500.71. That's around $300 more than last year's average. And if you're rushing to make the tax deadline, guess what? You're not alone. According to a study by IPX 1031, 29% of Americans procrastinate filing their taxes. The top reason? Feeling that the process is just too complicated or stressful. In fact, IRS recent data trends show that over 20 million Americans typically file a 6-month tax extension each year. And if you're rushing to get that return in, our next guest has some last-minute tax tips for you. CPA and former IRS agent Kimberly Washington joins us tonight. Kimberly, thank you so much for coming on the show. Now, there were quite a bit of changes to the tax law recently, including new deductions taxpayers can claim. What are some of the biggest changes Americans will see this year?
Right. So if you're filing your tax return this year, there's some big changes as it relates to the big, beautiful bill. One of the biggest changes, of course, if you recently purchased a car last year, you may be able to take a deduction for car loan interest up to $10,000. So that's a big one. The second thing you want to keep in mind is that if you're someone who receives no tax on tips, also as receives tax on tips, and also when it comes to overtime pay as well, keep in mind that you're able to take a deduction up to $25,000 as it relates to those amounts. And last but certainly not least, if you are someone over the age of 65, you may also be able to take a bonus deduction of $6,000. So that is something else to keep in mind this tax season.
Now, with all these new rules, are there any deductions taxpayers often overlook when filing?
That's a really big one, and it's called a bad debt deduction. Let me tell you quickly how it works. So if you're someone and maybe you gave a loan to a family member and that family member has yet to pay you back, you may be able to take it as a deduction on a tax return. Now get this, it has to be a bona fide loan, meaning that, of course, it wasn't a gift when you first gave it to the person, and it has to be proven that it's worthless, meaning that maybe they filed for bankruptcy or you sent several emails and you haven't received the money back. You may be able to take it as a deduction on your tax return. You put that information on Form 8949 as a capital loss. So that is something that's quite overlooked.
Now, a new incentive for families was introduced this year, the so-called Trump accounts. What does this mean for parents, and how can they request to open one?
Right. So the biggest thing is that when you file your tax return, if you have a newborn baby that was born from January 1st of last year, keep in mind you can get a bonus $1,000 to put into this account, but you would need to check a box on your tax return. That form number is 4547. And so you'll check that box and you can get that additional $1,000. Now, keep in mind, this is a tax advantage account, so it does grow tax free as long as you use it for qualified expenses when that child reaches the age of 18. So you do want to keep that in mind, and a family can put up to $5,000 a year. And again, it grows tax-free. So that is something big when it comes to your savings accounts for your children.
Now, there's also another tax deadline coming up on April 15th. What should viewers know?
This is a really big deal. If you're someone that's listening right now and you have yet to file your 2022 tax return, you are running out of time if you expect a refund. And that's because the IRS has estimated about 1 million individuals have yet to file. And of course, they may lose out on their refunds. It's about $1 billion of unclaimed tax refunds. If you don't file by the April 15th deadline of that prior 22 tax return, if you expect to get a refund after that date, you're no longer going to be able to receive that refund. So if you haven't filed that return, you want to do so as soon as possible.
Now, Kimberly, as you know, this last year has been the year of AI. And according to a poll by Adobe, a significant number of Americans are turning to artificial intelligence also to file their taxes. What are some things people should be aware of if using AI to file their tax returns?
Well, you really have to be careful because it's also been reported there's been a lot of errors when you use AI. And you have to remember, you're submitting a tax return to the IRS. So it is your responsibility, of course, that can come back on you. There are free tools that you can use on irs.gov website. One, the free file program. If you earn less than $89,000, you'll be able to take advantage of this program. So that's a free way. And also, if you just don't think you'll be able to beat the deadline, you can also do a free tax extension on that website as well.
All right. Information we all need. Kimberly Washington, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Coming up, a look into Hulu's new documentary, Sky King, the exclusive interviews and never-before-heard traffic control audio used to tell the story of a man who stole a plane from Seattle-Tacoma Airport and its tragic aftermath. Welcome back. Ballpark praise for the Pope, scoring a Picasso for a good cause, and some daring deputies have seconds to save a woman trapped in a sinking truck. These stories and more in tonight's Rundown. Video shows the heart-pounding race to save a driver trapped as her pickup sinks into a retention pond outside of Tampa, Florida.
The car is fully submerged.
Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies reaching the water on Sunday just minutes after getting this desperate 911 call.
I'm in the lake. I'm a 7 years and a half. I'm in the lake. I'm going to drown. I don't know how to swim. Please, I'm going to drown. I lost control of the vehicle and it fell in. Please, help me.
You can hear those deputies in the water trying to get inside.
The window! We need to break the window!
I got it. Hey. Pull!
Moments later, the A-team on shore helping to pull the woman and her rescuers to safety. The woman suffered only minor injuries. New renderings have been released of the triumphal arch that the Trump administration is planning to build near Arlington National Cemetery. The arch is expected to be 250 feet tall to coincide with the America 250 celebration, and it'll be dripping in gold, including a gold statue of Lady Liberty with gold wings and 4 golden lions at each corner of the arch's base. This comes as the Trump administration reached a compromise with a group of veterans suing to prevent construction. The administration agreed to notify the public at least 2 weeks before beginning work in exchange for stalling the lawsuit. Taxpayer money will partially pay for the project. The rapper Offset has been released from the hospital after being shot in the leg outside a casino in Florida this week. The rapper took to social media saying he's focused on his family, recovery, and getting back to music. Rapper Lil TJ was arrested in connection to the shooting Monday outside the Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood. A lawyer for Lil TJ called the accusations rumors. And the Chicago White Sox will pay tribute to one of their most famous fans, Pope Leo, by offering Pope-themed hats to all who attend Saturday's game against the Cincinnati Reds. Pope Leo is a Chicago native and a proud White Sox fan, even breaking Vatican protocol by wearing a White Sox cap last year. And a few weeks ago, he gave a thumbs up to someone who yelled, "God bless the White Sox." And a raffle in France is offering the chance to win a portrait by Pablo Picasso. The painting being auctioned is called Tête de Femme, painted by the famous artist in 1941 with an estimated value of 1 million euros. Now, a ticket will cost €100 or $117, with proceeds going to Alzheimer's research. Christie's auction house says the painting will be on view Monday at its galleries in Paris ahead of Tuesday's 6 p.m. drawing. And sometimes you need a friend to lend a helpful hand, or paw. This 96-year-old grandma is getting a helping hand from man's best friend. This Newfoundland's name is Chewy. All grandma does is point with her cane, and Chewy handles the rest, digging the perfect hole for planting beautiful flowers. Her granddaughter posting the caption, "He knows exactly what she's saying." Hulu's latest documentary revisits a dramatic incident in 2018 at Seattle's Tacoma International Airport involving Horizon Air employee Richard Bebo Russell. On August 10th, Bebo shockingly hijacked an empty plane with no flight experience and took off into the Pacific Northwest skies. This day sparked the hashtag #FlightKing, which became a rally cry for mental health awareness. Take a look.
There's 2 things that everyone is trained to do in air traffic control. You find out how many people are on board the aircraft and how much fuel is remaining on the aircraft. Because if it crashes, the firefighters need to know how big is the fire going to be, and they need to know how many bodies they're looking for.
Okay, Rich, do you have an idea of how much fuel you have left?
I already burned like 1,000 pounds, so I'm down to 2,100. I started like 30-something.
At 2,100 pounds, that gave him about an hour of fly time. In an hour, he's going to fall out of the sky.
All right, joining us now is the director of the film, Patricia E. Gillespie. Thank you so much for joining us right now.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, what was it about this story that captured your attention and made you want to jump in on this project?
Yeah, I think like a lot of people, I first encountered this story hearing just little snippets of the flight as they floated around online. And I recognized something in his voice that reminded me of some of the guys I grew up with in this really eerie way, and I knew I wanted to explore deeper.
Now, this film, it features interviews with Bebo's siblings, his mother. Why was it important to include them into this project?
Yeah, I think that it's always been in the DNA of the film that we needed his family to participate to make the best film possible, because it was important to us to show that his actions had impact long after the flight. I think this was a very hard thing for all of them to listen to and to explore, and they did it to help other people.
Now, after the incident, Bebo's motives, they were in question, they were politicized. Was that part of the story important for you to include it in this?
Yeah, it was incredibly important. I think when I saw a lot of this sensationalism and politicization that was around the story when I first encountered it, I realized that a deeper human story was missing, and his family was really the key to unlocking that. And when you were able to explore the human side of the story, it becomes much more complex, much more layered, much more nuanced, and offers some important insights about American culture today. I think we would have missed in the sensational version.
Right. All right, Patricia, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Now you can watch hashtag Sky King on April 14th on Hulu and Disney+. It's the show that put the fun in dysfunctional. And now Malcolm in the Middle is back as a miniseries 2 decades later. A lot has changed, but so much is exactly the same. Here's ABC's Ashin Singh.
Yeah, I look different. But hey, everything about me is different.
In the early 2000s, Malcolm in the Middle turned family dysfunction into an art form.
He has an IQ of 165.
Who?
Malcolm. What?
The sitcom starring Frankie Muniz as the gifted son of working-class parents, played by Bryan Cranston and Jane Kaczmarek.
You will sit down every night and work until those grades are up.
Why do I have to tutor him?
Because God gave you a giant brain. Blame him.
Now, 25 years later, the mess is back. With Malcolm in the Middle, life's still unfair. A limited series revival from Hulu.
How far did you run?
6 miles past the interstate.
Malcolm, now a father, trying to shield his teenage daughter from the family chaos.
Quesadilla! Quesadilla!
What was it actually like being back together on set, especially after 20 years?
It felt like not a second had gone by.
We let it go 20 years ago, and it boomeranged back. Then they're adults. We're all appreciating the time we have together.
It was almost like waking up from a coma after 25 years and thinking, I know you.
Frankie Muniz, like Malcolm, was a child prodigy, also starring in 2000's hits like Big Fat Liar.
Remember me? I wrote Big Fat Liar.
This is Hollywood. We play by our own rules.
And Agent Cody Banks.
I'm a junior secret agent working for the CIA. Whatever.
Now all grown up and father to a 4-year-old.
What was it like revisiting this role that made you Frankie Muniz in a lot of ways?
I mean, I was ecstatic when I got the call that it was going to happen. I know we had talked about it for a really long time, right? But I remember coming home every day from this and going like, I'm really happy with how that went.
Brian and I said, there were a few scenes where you were acting, and Brian and I would look at each other and say, he's really good.
He's good.
I mean, if this kid wanted to act again,
yeah.
And we said, you should consider this.
And Frankie, much like the high-achieving Malcolm, excelling at not just acting, but driving in NASCAR. Jane Kaczmarek, back playing Malcolm's mom, Lois, as the captain running a tight ship, fiercely devoted to her family and not afraid to set her son straight.
Can we do this outside the men's room?
Nope. It's gone on long enough. We're going to straighten everything out right here, right now.
Jane, tell me a little bit about how Lois has changed over the years.
I remember that final episode, telling him that what you're going to do with your life and you're going to work hard for it. We've been getting the short end of the stick for thousands of years, and I, for one, am sick of it. Now you are going to be president, mister, and that's the end of it. It was such a moving episode, and now doing this, I know they wanted us to be a little better off. We've got only one kid at home now, and that Hal and Lois were, enjoying a little more easy times, but the circumstances arise. Lois was in high gear again.
Bryan Cranston, back as Malcolm's sweet and hapless father, Hal.
I can call back later.
Come on, Dewey, you've seen this like 1,000 times.
After his role as Hal, Cranston going on to play a different sort of father. Drug kingpin and family man Walter White in the massively popular Breaking Bad.
I am not in danger, Skyler. I am the danger.
There's a scene in the new show we're going through a bit of a therapy session. Did you tap into a little bit of Walter White there?
I wanted to have a character that was the confident side of Hal. When I first started working on creating that character, I was kind of lost. I didn't know where it should fit. And so I looked at Jane's character and I said, well, Lois is fearless and strong and tough. And so I went, what if Hal is fearful and weak and soft? And all of a sudden I started going, wait a minute, there's something here. So that list of contrast started to give me an idea.
Brian and Jane have watched their on-screen son grow up in real life, seeing Frankie go from child star to the father of his 4-year-old son, Moz.
What's it like seeing Frankie Muniz as a parent himself now? Do you still feel like his parents?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We definitely do. And as a parent of a woman who is in her 30s now, you're always parenting. When I first met Moz on the set, as soon as he saw Frankie, he was like, and he ran. He's so attached to him, and it was really sweet, and it's worth repeating how gentle and tender and how attentive you are with him, and being a really good parent. And to watch him parent like that was like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah, because Lois would just go, no. No is a complete sentence.
How have you guys experienced the memes? Have you paid attention to the fan base and how they've been clamoring for the show the past 20 years?
Do you know what a meme is? Because I barely do.
Mom, do you know what a meme is? Hal was always doing something crazy.
Hal is so memeable, man.
I don't remember a lot of shows that were on 20 years ago, but the fact that this one has continued. I have people come up to me all the time and say, "Oh, I loved it as a kid. I'm showing it to my kids," or we watch it every year. We watch it 20 times, and people really genuinely love it.
Life is unfair. Our thanks to Asha. And Malcolm in the Middle, Life's Still Unfair is now streaming on Hulu. That's our show for this hour. I'm Mike Ajachi. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us.